I never said I wasn't perfect. I never said I didn't have any flaws. All right, guys, I got my notes. Episode 22, but that damn Amaya song is stuck in my head. All right, so I just got done seeing Love Island Season 7, Episode 22. And can I first of all say that these shows that are hour and a half long, granted, I love this show, and you would think more is better, but from an editing, videographer point of view, I think an hour is a perfect timing for an episode because when you do the hour and a half, the beginning seems like long and drawn out, and I was honestly kind of bored in the beginning of this, but then it started to spice up towards maybe 25 minutes into it. So just cut that off, keep it at 1 hour. I'm good with that. Plus, we get a new show every day, except obviously for Wednesday and Saturday. But anyway, back to the episode. So there's a scene where the handshake happens between Taylor and Nick. You know, they had that handshake. And Alandrea's like, damn, I don't have a handshake. We don't have a handshake together. I don't have a handshake with nobody. And Taylor goes, well, maybe you're just not liked. Really, bro? Why would you even say that, even as a joke? Which isn't a joke, because I've been saying it. If you've been watching my reviews, Taylor does not like Alandrea. The addition of Clark, the new bombshell, into this is proving my point. Because he is like head over heels for Clark for whatever reason. And honestly, he might be into her because she looks like him. I said it, I said it, I said it. They look alike. Take whatever you want from that. So Pepe and Grayson have a talk, and he brings her in for a kiss. Pepe's not into Grayson. He's just not into her. I think he's just playing the game. You know, you have no choice but to play the game. You're in this house, so play with whoever you're going to play with. But there's no real connection there, so maybe he'll find a connection with someone else. I know me and my friends were talking, and some of them feel Pepe should give Huda a chance. I think I've seen a little bit of that online, but I don't think that's going to happen because now Huda is going to connect with, in my opinion, this is how I was feeling in the beginning of the show. I thought Huda is going to connect with Chris. But more about that later. And honestly, a lot of these connections lately have been feeling fake as, like, there were real connections starting from the jump to a couple of episodes ago. But I just feel like Love Island itself, the goddamn producers, ruined the real connections. You had Jeremiah and Huda. You had Hannah and Charlie. Then you had Hannah and Pepe. And then you had, like, it's just not. It's feeling very fake now. There's not really no real ones left. I would just say Shelly and Ace and Ciara and Nick. You know, it's just, I'm hoping it's going back to where the real connections were. I know the show wants drama. I know the show is about messiness and all of that. But I like connection. I want to see real love happen. Please stop ruining it. Stop bringing bombshells in the house. Speaking of Huda and Chris, I knew the moment Huda, I keep saying Huda, Hitta, whatever. Huda, and JD, when they had that conversation, JD was like, oh, you like to be in control. Yeah, you like to be in control, and I ain't letting that happen. Whatever. And she walked away. I was like, oh, it's done. JD, you had your chance to stay in the house. You should have played the game a little better just to at least last another episode or two. But you're gone. I already knew he was going to be gone. So then we go to the scene between Nick and Alandrea. And Nick and Alandrea are talking about exploring what could be, and they kid, but they feel like with the kids, they let it be known that Nick is like, you know, I have this thing with Ciara, and we should be friends, and Alandrea is like, yeah, romantically it's not. We should just be friends. I was thinking about Taylor. Bullshit. This has been bullshit from the beginning, and all of y'all are eating it up. There was no freaking Nick Alandrea at all. At all. They did not care about each other in that way. They were more like brother and sister. But I feel like, as I said in my last review, I feel like production said we got to spice some shit up. People are wanting Nick Leandria, so we're going to knock y'all out and then give you the option to stay if you couple up. And then you could just fake it off for one day, and the next day just say you want to get back with your peeps. That was all set up. I'm 150% sure that was all set up. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not part of the show or part of production, but I know how these shows work. And that shit was a whole setup. So, and y'all ate it all up, and y'all still eating it all up. But I guess that's the name of the game, right? You want people to talk on social media. You want people to keep this show on their mouths or whatever the case may be. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. But anyway, it was cute. It was a cute moment. It was fun to add some spice to this special meal. Also, I thought it was hilarious that they, when Clark pulled Alandrea to talk. And I was thinking, damn, they should have played The Boy's Mind. This is a moment for you to play that song. It would have been funny. And then I'm hearing it, and it's like a slowed down version of The Boy's Mind. Perfect. So then Ariana comes and she's spilling the tea about Casa Amor and the villa, and then Casa Amor couples are sitting, and the villa couples come one by one by one. My anxiety level, because just the way the show is set up with the music in the background and the sound effects and the angles, these editors are on point. Like, they know what the hell they're doing. They know how to juice up a moment, even if it's not even really a moment. So even though I knew who were coupled up in Casa Amor, just the way they set it all up was just my anxiety. And then I was like, I wonder how they're gonna do the whole Alandrea and Nick, and then we saw how they did it. So the couples are coming in, one by one, and it's all this dramaticness, and Casa Amor are watching, Shelly seeing Ace, and just everybody seeing each other, and I'm just like, oh my god, my anxiety. And then Ariana says how Nick, obviously, and then Ariana says, Alandrea had went home, so obviously a boy had to go home from the villa, and unfortunately Nick went home. Oh my god, Ciara was bawling, crying. The other girl, Amaya, was crying. Like, it was so emotional. Like, the crazy thing is, I knew Nick didn't leave. He's still there, about to come out, and I still felt emotional. Like, I was like, oh my god, Ciara, I know. And then when Ariana said, they let Ciara calm down and talk whatever, just to waste some time. And then Ariana said, oh, I forgot, there is one more couple. Everybody's like, what are you talking about? I know they probably were thinking it was a new couple. And then Nick and Alandrea come out. Like I said, I already knew, but it made me feel like I didn't know. Like, I was like yelling at the screen. This is like a goddamn football game for reality TV lovers. So that was so cool. Not interestingly, but it's funny, the girls ran to Alandrea, and Ciara and Nick went together and kissed, and I was like, oh no, Elin. I felt so bad for Nick number 2, but on the other hand, I was happy for Nick and Alandrea. I mean, Nick and Ciara. I just felt bad for Elin. Elin seemed like a cool guy, and I was like, man, I wish he could stay in the house a little longer just to explore maybe other people or whatever. And he did connect with Ciara in a way. And not that I want Ciara with him, but I don't know. I just wanted him to stay. But anyway, after everybody calms down and breathes and exhales and all that good stuff, it's come to the point where they have to decide who they want to recouple up with or stay with. So the game is, you got to write the name on the board of who you want to couple up with. But even if you say, like, let's say I want to go with Tamika, I could write Tamika, but it don't mean I'm going to connect if Tamika don't write me. So they go up there, and for the most part, I kind of figured out what was going to happen. Austin stayed with Jaden. Jaden stayed with him, so they were connected. Amaya don't give a damn. She wasn't even thinking about you in the Casa Amor. And honestly, before they left the villa, Austin was kind of treating her like shit. He wasn't really being honest about his non-feelings for her. So Amaya's like, deuces, I got Zach with a K with May. You know what annoys me though about production? And I get it. Like I said, I'm into video editing and all that good stuff. I get a piece of the story together. I get building suspense. But like, for instance, this game where you got to write the name and reveal who you pick, they take so long. Like, instead of just writing Amaya and showing Amaya, that's it. No, they're like, and now it's time for you to pick who you want to recouple with. And then the music and shots of whatever, and then writing down, and then closing it, and then waiting, then walking to the middle, and then more music, and then the faces of everybody reacting, and then unveil. Who do you want to pick, Austin? Austin, deep breath, breathing, looking around, the silence, everybody sitting down, giving reaction, and Then he lifts up the board and he slowly looks again and slowly opens the board and finally he flips it over, but he doesn't show us. It's still music. It's still prolonging the situation. It's still building the suspense. And finally he slowly turns it around, but not too fast because we don't want to keep this and stretch this for 15 goddamn minutes. And finally he shows who he chose. Oh my God, that's so annoying, but I get it. So it is what it is. And so obviously, I say obviously because I figured that Zach with a K and Amaya would choose each other. You know, she's a proper girl. She's a proper girl. I love them together. I hope they can kind of grow. And even if they don't grow, at least they can keep each other in the house for a little longer so that they can possibly connect with someone else. So then Pepe and Grayson choose each other, whatever bullshit, but that's good. They could get to stay. And then I was kind of shocked that TJ picked Iris. For some reason, I thought he was going to pick Vanna. But, I mean, whatever. Cool for them. They're kind of boring, so I frankly don't care if they stay or go. I don't think they're going to win. And then Brian and Adriana picked each other. That was pretty obvious. And because, like I said, they remind me of the Jeremiah and Huda of the new class or whatever. And then speaking of Huda and Chris picked each other. I felt that was obvious. I think Chris did like Shelly, but he probably knew like she's too deep in with Ace. I like Huda, so let me just pick and stay, or hopefully stay if she picks me, so that we can kind of see where this could go. So I don't blame them for picking each other. Cool. I hope it works out anyway because I want Huda to find somebody. And then Ace is making faces while Huda is talking about, like, Ace, what is your problem? Like, why does he have a problem with Huda? Like, bro, like, worry about your shit. Ace be annoying me sometimes, man. And then I thought it was so funny how Nick and Nick number 2, Elin, both walking up to stand up there with Ciara. They were looking like twins. Like, I'm like, yo, this is so funny. So Nick and Nick number 2 go up there, and Ciara obviously picks Nick, which I understand. I get it. They have that connection. They're cool. I don't mind them. You know, I just wasn't feeling how Nick was kind of stringing her along a little bit in a sense. But that's whatever. That's whatever. Maybe it's true what he said, that the whole getting booted from the villa and then the whole thing with Alandrea, maybe it really did make him realize what he had with Ciara. Sometimes some people just date differently, and sometimes they need that shocking moment to show them what they have in front of them. So, wish them the best. I felt bad for Elin, but it is what it is. That's the name of the game. So then it comes to the moment of truth with Taylor picking between Clark or Alandrea. And so this is my thing. I already knew he wasn't into Alandrea from the beginning. He just didn't seem into her. And he is like a new person with Clark. So on one hand, I wanted him to be honest for himself. You know what I mean? Like, for yourself. Don't just pick Alandrea just because y'all are good friends and you feel bad. Pick her because you want her. But if you really want Clark, just pick her because you seem to really be into her. But on the other hand, I'm like, I don't want Alandrea to go, oh, she just came back. I thought she was going home. I like Alandrea, yo. But so Taylor picks Clark, and I was shocked. I don't know why I was shocked. I guess I was shocked that he finally took hold of his, because it feels like he listens to Ace and everybody and looks for guidance and doesn't really. Taylor gives me like an 18-year-old or something, like, who's still young. He's not really firm in his, I don't know. It's just something about him. But anyway, kudos for him for picking Clark, because it was clear that he wasn't into Alandrea. I felt so bad for Alandrea because I'm like, damn. But on the other hand, I was glad because I'm like, she needed this moment. She just needed that moment to finally get unblinded and realize that Taylor is just not into her. And this should be the moment. At least I hope it is. I hope Alandrea is not a little, like, girl, if she still be talking to Taylor after this, I don't know what the hell's wrong with her, but I don't think she is. I think she needed this to really wake up. And Amaya there like, Taylor, are you serious? Taylor, shut up! Like, stop! I mean, I get it. I get everybody was probably like that, but I'm like, y'all had to know he wasn't really into her, right? Or were they slow too? Like, I always wonder because we're seeing what they're experiencing. So But then I guess it's different when you see it. Like when you're in it, you might not have the same reaction to when you see it back on video. So never mind. All right, Amaya. All right. I know you felt how you felt. So then that left Coco, Vanna, Elin, JD, and Alandrea single and vulnerable, and they were gonna have to go home. But the vote was Villa, I think, choose the boy or girl, and Casa Amor choose the boy or girl, whichever, I can't remember. Oh, I think Villa picked the girl, yes, because they had deliberations and they picked Alandrea. I was so scared because it seemed like Taylor and Clark, for obvious reason, weren't gonna pick Alandrea. And Taylor even said something to like, oh, when I picked whatever, she was giving me Alandrea was giving me side faces or whatever. Like, bro, really? That's grimy, but it is what it is. And Nick stuck up for her, so that was cool. So they pick Alandrea, and I was so glad the guys picked Elin so he can have a chance. You know what I mean? Because he seemed like a really cool dude. Alandrea is a cool girl. I love them together. Alandrea, tomorrow, pull Elin to a chat. I mean, just start talking. Start trying to build connections with other people because we don't want you to go home. I don't want you to go home. And Taylor don't want you. So don't waste your time with that no more. And that's episode 22. You know, yo, this show is insane. And yeah, I'll be here for episode 23 on Sunday. So stay tuned. Let me know what you thought about all this madness. If you thought the choices were right, wrong, and all that good stuff in the comments. You know, we got to keep the conversation going in the comments. All right. So until the next video, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please. I would appreciate it.